Victoria puts her stunned family on notice after she's spotted kissing Ashland. Monday, March 28, 2022. Today on The Young and the Restless, Chance runs something by Abby. Nick can't believe his eyes. And Billy toys with Ashland. At Newman Media, Victor, Nick and Nikki recap that it will take Victoria a long time to get over what Ashland Locke has done. They debate whether she'll go into work today. Victor vows to cut Locke out of the family and the family business. Nikki reminds him they must protect Victoria's dignity. Victor gets a text, his security team alerting him that Victoria is at Crimson Lights and Ashland has joined her. Nikki doesn't want to intervene. She's not in danger. Victor sends Nick to check it out. More, watch. Michael returns to Lauren. At Crimson Lights, Ashland tells Victoria he hoped she'd come home last night so they could talk. She wonders what the point would be since he said he was done trying to save their marriage. Ashland regrets that and reminds her of the texts he sent. Victoria counters that he hasn't offered any defense whatsoever. Locke didn't want to dignify their accusations with a response, but he told her he loved her and that was straight from his heart. On the patio, Billy watches and glares. Victoria tells Ashland she saw fear and desperation in his eyes. Locke wants to talk privately. Victoria demands to know where it was coming from. Billy watches hopefully and muses to himself, "Give him hell, Vic." Ashland tells Victoria that he wasn't scared, he just doesn't know yet who is setting him up. Victoria can't believe he's still claiming that. Without evidence, Ashland can't stand up against her family and in the moment, he wanted to protect her. The desperation in his eyes was because he worried about losing the woman he loves. Victoria guesses he's saying she's the problem because of her lack of faith in him. Ashland understands the evidence against him is too much to ignore. He vows to find out who's setting him up. But he loves her with his heart and soul. Victoria tells him, "If you lied to me about being ill, you don't love me." Ashland jumps on her words, "You said if." Billy, eavesdropping, worries, "Victoria, don't let him get away with this." More, Y&R star teases Jack and Diane's reunion. At the Chancellor estate, Chance makes Dominic giggle as Abby comes downstairs beaming. She suggests a snack and heads to the kitchen, but not before pausing to happily watch the two playing together. After Abby leaves the room, Chance's PTSD kicks in and starts sweating and gasping. Abby reappears and looks concerned. Chance hears her and acts normal, enthusing over the snacks she brought back. Abby asks what he needs. "Whatever it is, all you have to do is ask." Chance admits he's still having nightmares and panic attacks but it's getting better. His therapist is helping, but he also recommended something else, which will require her support. Chance has a feeling she won't like it. Still at Crimson Lights, Ashland thanks Victoria for sitting down with him. On the patio, Nick arrives. Billy stops him from interrupting. He thinks Victoria is about to throw a hot coffee in Locke's face. Nick asks how much he knows. Billy confirms, "Everything. She told me everything." He's not surprised he screwed her over and knows Nick likely wasn't either. Billy thought she was going to smack him when he first walked in, but now he's getting to her. You think she'd see through it by now. More, how Chelsea surprised Melissa Claire Egan. At their table, Ashland tells Victoria if she can't get past her doubts about him, he'll understand and respect her wishes whatever they are. If there's the slightest chance she'd wait for him to clear his name, that would be a miracle. Victoria carefully responds, "I think everything will work out." She has to deal with her family first and will meet him later at society. She allows him to embrace her as he says this means the world to him. On the patio, Billy and Nick watch. Nick, fuming, gops, "What the hell?" At Newman Media, Victor and Nikki talk about sitting down with Victoria to hammer out a strategy after the crushing betrayal. Victor thinks she'll want to be rid of the loser once the shock wears off. Nikki feels it will take a while for her to get over this. Victor gets a message and groans, "Oh my goodness." He says Nick is watching Victoria and Ashland and she just went into his arms. He's going to put a stop to it, grabs his coat and mutters, "This is outrageous." Nikki looks after him with alarm. More, Philly's and Diane's rivalry is set to reignite. At Crimson Lights, Ashland offers to go with Victoria to face her family together. She asks him to trust her. He sighs, she's right, he just instinctively wants to protect her. Victoria reminds him there's nothing he can say to them without proof he's being set up. Ashland vows to get it. She knows he's relentless. Ashland kisses her and wishes her luck before leaving. Nick and Billy emerge from the patio and ask, "What was that?" Victoria won't explain herself to either one of them. She urges Nick to trust her for once. "I know what I'm doing." She stalks out and Nick grumps, "I don't like this at all." Nick grills Billy, who assures that Victoria was totally convinced he's guilty, though they also talked about him being dangerous. Victor walks in and Nick tells him Victoria's already gone. Billy lets Victor he knows everything, which is why he should have teamed up with him from the beginning. "I could have stopped Ashland in his tracks." At Newman Lock, Victoria looks up at her portrait and pulls out her phone to make a call. "Hi, it's me. I need to see you right away." More, Y&R Restless rant, it's Victoria's turn to play Ashland. At the Chancellor estate, Abby's put Dominic down for a nap and then asks Chance again what his therapist suggested for him to work through this. Chance replies that he literally wants him to work through it. He thinks I should go back to the police force. Abby admits it's the last thing she expected the doctor to say. She can't fathom that he want himself to go back under that kind of pressure when he's not ready. Chance argues, he thinks I am ready. He feels getting back to a normal routine and building up his confidence is part of the healing process. Chance won't do it if Abby has reservations. Nikki arrives at Newman Lock and is glad Victoria called her. Victoria learns that Victor went looking for her at Crimson Lights and is unsurprised. Nikki explains they didn't want Ashland harassing her. Victoria reveals that Ashland is still insisting he's being set up. She asks her mother to get Victor and Nick over there and she'll tell them what they want to know. More soap news roundup and weekly recaps. At Crimson Lights, Victor and Billy bicker until Nick says this isn't doing any good. Victor's concerned about Victoria being in Locke's arms, but Billy insists she was furious with him prior to that. Victor gets a call from Nikki to come to the office. Billy tries to tag along, but Victor warns him to stay out of it. More gorgeous gallery, Michelle Stafford's hottest red carpet looks. At the Chancellor Manse, Abby wants Chance to be able to return to work. That's always been the goal. She just doesn't understand why Dr. Huffman wants him to do it now. Chance insists he's in a better place than when he went on the stakeout with Ray. He feels good. Abby does too. Chance trusts his therapist and wants to build himself back up. I will pace myself and see how things go. He knows there will be setbacks, but he's more equipped to handle that now. Abby doesn't want to stand in his way. Chance thanks her for being the most supportive partner a man could ask for. They kiss and start making out, but Abby has to put the brakes on to get to society. As she heads out, Chance calls Ray and asks him to meet up. At Newman Lock, Nikki and Victoria discuss the staff meeting. Victoria admits she's compartmentalizing. Nikki vows her family will stand by her. Victoria tells her they may have different ideas of what that should look like. Just then, Victor and Nick arrive. Victoria apologizes for running off and worrying them. She wants to reassure them that she's not falling apart, nor does she plan to. Nick relays that he saw her kissing Ashland. Nikki's aghast. Victoria tells them all to listen up, and then informs them that she intends to handle this the way she sees fit. She's going to meet Locke when she leaves there and tell him that nothing needs to change between them and that she still loves him. The Newmans looks disappointed and upset. More, the trouble with Lily and Devon's merger. At Society, Billy spots Ashland at the bar and asks how everything is in his world. Ashland says it's great. Billy notes he always lands on his feet. Nothing sticks even when he gets caught. I wouldn't count on that continuing if I were you. Ashland chuckles and takes a drink. He wonders if Billy knows something he doesn't. Billy thinks it's inevitable. You can only roll the dice so many times before it comes up snake eyes. Victoria is smart and will see through him, and when she does, Billy wouldn't want to be standing in his $1,000 shoes. Next on The Young and the Restless, Victoria takes matters into her own hands. Victor receives a surprise visitor.